Welcome to the KXCountry Clubhouse. I'm Derek Mann from KX96 Afternoons. We are joined today by John Morgan. Hey,
What's up, Derek?
hey. It's no secret that you have written a ton of songs, specifically Jason Aldean recording 16 of them. And so I was wondering at this point, when you write something really good, do you ever have that moment where you go, I'm not letting Jason have this one?
It's happening more and more. Yeah, I think no, it's funny, man, because I love having that outlet just as a writer to kind of be able to chase something that's out of my wheelhouse and jump into where he's headed and his direction. I love what he does. I've always been a fan, so it comes pretty easy as far as like knowing what he will probably like and not, And so I've been super fortunate to just get the opportunity to, send him songs and he's been super good to me for sure.
Has there been anyone that you've like maybe had to fight to keep for your own?
Um, but yeah, we actually just cut one. We just cut a whole new record the last couple months, and we cut a song that was the first song I ever took back from him. I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, because he's told me that for years. He's like, look, man, if you love it, just tell me. And I'm like, cool, and I really haven't up until this point when we wrote this song, and he actually had it on hold for I don't know, probably 4 months, 3 or 4 months, and while he had it on hold, I just kept listening to the demo, and I'm like, dang, this is a good one, man, And
Yeah.
I ended up texting him when we went in to cut this record, and I was like, do you care if I take that one back? And he's like, no, that's you. So he's cool about it at least.
Fair enough. Well, your current single, Kid Myself, that's one you did keep. I do love the story behind this. You said maybe the relationship wasn't necessarily bad, you just weren't ready. Now, when you write something like that, like years later, do you ever wonder if the person hears the song and knows it's about them?
Yeah, I mean that thought definitely crosses your mind. I think to me, I think I know this sounds cliche, but it's more of a story, I guess, an apology from me, as opposed to trying to get anybody's attention. It's just a hey, like this is why this happened, because you don't always get closure whenever stuff like that happens. You don't get a chance to speak your mind, but that's what I love about music and what I get to do is I can channel a lot of that stuff and hopefully have it connect with multiple people, that have been through the same thing.
So let's say you ran into her tomorrow. Is there anything that you would, you'd want her to know that you couldn't say back then?
Um, at this point, I don't know, man. It'd be tough. I think I don't know. I would just probably reassure that it wasn't really her fault. I was at a place that the problem was that I grew up playing music, right? And my music was my whole life. I toured from 12 years old to 18 in the bluegrass circuit, and I did that for a long time. And so I was kind of right out of that. I'd taken some time away from guitar and music in general. I hadn't touched any of it, and it was just kind of a miserable time in my life, and it was all self-inflicted. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I wanted to do next, and I was burnt out on the road and music. I thought, and I think not having that in my life was the first time I had ever not had it in my life, and it definitely affected me and affected people around me as well. So, that would probably be the only thing I would say, but I think she probably gets that.
Yeah, well, I love the story on that song. It's such a great song. Now, you said that you were a bit of a different guy when you first moved to Nashville. Now being a dad, being married. Like, what's something that pre-Nashville John, like younger John, would have written about differently than the guy I'm speaking to right now?
That's a good question, man. I mean, um, it is. Sometimes I'll go back in my vault of old songs and demos and just kind of listen to what I was writing about. Because sometimes when you're in it, man, like especially when you're uh, before you're signed, when you're hustling and you're trying to get a publishing deal, and you're fighting for. Sorry, my keyboard was on.
Okay, thought it was a siren.
I got a whole keyboard underneath me. Sorry. Um, No, but sometimes when you're grinding and you're trying to get noticed,
Hmm.
you write everything. It's like whatever, you're a chameleon. I was anyway. I just, whatever room I was in, I adapted to, whether it was, there was a pop artist in the room, or if there was a 90s country artist in the room. Like I'm adaptive, that was my mindset. And so I think that just helped, um, kind of early on. It just helped me in a lot of ways to, figure out what I wanted to write for my stuff too. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a fun process. I love the whole process of writing, and the studio, all of that. It's just so much fun that I got obsessive over it at that stage, and I think in a probably in a not healthy way in some ways, but I feel like you've got to be that. You've got to be that if you want to cut through the noise, and there's too much talent here to just be subpar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was probably the biggest thing, though.
Would you say that like being a dad now has changed what feels important to you or important enough to put into a song now?
Yeah, you definitely think about what you're saying more. I do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot less like whiskey bent songs now, because I'm just not in that phase of life,
Sure.
and I don't know. You definitely think about your subject matters a little bit more, and I try to, just consider, would I want my kids to listen to this? You know what I mean? Like, you got to ask yourself that, because, um, you know, those are my favorite fans, are young ones, man. They get me going, and especially out at these shows, seeing them out there rocking out. It's fun, but it definitely, again, it makes you think about it. And I've definitely, this new record we just cut. I probably wrote more different subject matters than I ever have on one piece, and so I'm really excited to start teasing that and get some songs out over the next couple of months. But yeah, it's definitely a different record than I would have wrote when I was 23.
For sure. Well, so yeah, the Carolina Blue is the album, and obviously you built your career in Nashville. But what is like the most North Carolina thing that Nashville hasn't changed or failed to change about you?
Uh, I mean, I think just the community that I grew up around back home. It's that's probably what stuck with me is the influence and the impact they had. It just there was no egos. It was never about what can I do that's gonna push me further down the road. It was kind of the opposite. What do you need? How can I help you?
Hmm.
That was just who my grandfather was. Pretty popular guy back home growing up, and I think the main reason he was such a popular guy was very quiet, just mountain boy. Didn't say much, but he was super kind to everybody. No matter who walked into his store, he smiled at them and shook their hand, whether they had grease all over them or not. And so I think that's just true to who I am to the core, man. Like I'll never change that, and I don't think anything could. And so I think that's probably the thing I still am glad that I took away from back home. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you had mentioned, seeing like younger kids or younger fans at your shows and things like that. And you spend a lot of time side stage seeing, Jason Aldean, Riley Green,
Hmm.
Kane Brown. And then last year you see your name at the top of that ticket. Like, is it for you one of those moments where you look out and it's like, these people are actually here for me?
Yeah, man, it's super wild. I feel like I still I don't underappreciate that, because people are paying their hard-earned money to come out and spend an evening with you, and they expect a show. Like they want to see a show, and I think there's nothing more encouraging than doing a first headlining tour, and selling a club out. We sold two out on that tour, which to me was a big freaking deal. And so it was a lot of markets we hadn't hit yet either. So I just feel like that's still that old school way of just building grassroots fans is still the way to do it.
Hmm.
And I think that's helped us a lot.
Being able to have that under your belt now, being a headliner, going on a headlining tour, is there anything that doing that, being in that headlining position taught you that you couldn't learn opening for somebody else?
Yeah, I think it just it gives you a great idea of what it could look like down the road, because it's such a smaller scale, right? Like we're playing clubs and 500 to 1200 cap rooms, if it's on the bigger side. So, um, I think it gives you a perspective on what it could look like when you are headlining arenas or amphitheaters, if that's the goal. And I think gives you a good test run. For
Mhm.
one, do we got the right crew? Do we got the guys who can get it done now at our level now with minimal resources? And will they be able to when we do tier up, and get to that next level? I think it's just a good on even on the business side of it. It's a good test run to see how everything operates. And I think the most important thing that I try to keep at the forefront of my mind during those situations is how do we better our show? How do you better
Mhm.
your show? Like the only way, in my opinion, to figure out if something works or not, if a song translates live or not, is to try it out in a show. And you'll know very quickly if it's working or if it's not. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
They'll either be locked in or they're going to get another beer while you're playing another. You know what I mean? So um, we've done a lot of that over the last few years, and really, been able to learn the hard way and figure out how do we keep their attention? How do we incorporate new music while also playing stuff they know? So it's a lot of fun, man.
I love that. Well, good things are happening. I did want to ask you one more question because you spent the first part of your career in Nashville, um, putting these words in other people's mouths, basically, like your own writing, and now people are getting to hear you. So, what is it that you hope people understand about you and from Carolina Blue as well that they couldn't have learned from these songs coming from other people?
Yeah, I mean, these songs again were kind of just handpicked throughout, a matter of 4 or 5 years. Some of these songs on the debut album, Carolina Blue, were 5 years old. And I think to me that's kind of my judge. If something sticks around that long with me and I hang on to it, it's not that I haven't sent it to other artists usually. I mean, there's been a few that I really haven't sent around that I just cut myself and knew immediately. Those were me, but even ones that I do send around, it's not that I underappreciate the song or don't think it's me. It's sometimes I got to live with them and make sure it's
Mhm.
something I'm gonna sing for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? And so I've been fortunate to have, Aldean as a blueprint, and he lets me in on a lot of his stuff. Just to see, he's just a good confidant, and for whatever reason, believes in what I'm doing, and so it's cool to see his process and get to see the good and the bad, and he's definitely good about helping me steer that way for sure.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. I do hope we can see you in KX Country soon. I hope here in
Yeah, man.
Canada. But good things are happening, and it sounds like you're doing all the right things with testing. What works, what doesn't, and can't wait to see more of that soon.
Thanks, man. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
thank you so much, Sean. Have a great rest of your day, and hope to chat soon.
Yes, sir. Talk to you
All right,
soon.
bye now.
Thanks.